up, everyone? It's me, 2. I'm probably the last person you've expected to make a gaming video, but I've figured why not give it a shot. It looks fun and interesting, and 1 tried it out as well. So I figured maybe I could just give it a shot. My previous video wasn't really gaming, it was more like a showcase, you know? So, let's do an actual gaming video. This time around, we are playing Minecraft version 1.6.4 with the weather 2 mod, and we are going to spawn tornadoes to attack this village. Obviously, our objective here is to survive, so we'll need essentials like weapons, food, and tools so we can have a higher chance of survival. They may take a while to make, but it should all be worth the wait at some point. But anyway, we should probably start to spawn this tornado. This is the simple command to spawn an EF1 tornado. This type of tornado is meant to be the weakest out of all the tornadoes. This mod offers all tornado ratings 1 through 5. I'm not sure why they don't have an EF0. I guess it was too weak for them to add, but who cares? An EF0 probably wouldn't have did very much damage anyway. They are weak. This tornado is getting pretty close, but I don't think it's heading straight towards us. It would probably miss by like a couple of blocks. Hopefully there is no severe damage done to our house. Not really our house, but we are quite literally depending on this thing for our survival. Yep, it appears that the twister has successfully missed us pretty badly. Now that that's taken care of, we know that no dramatic damage will be dealt to our house, which is obviously good news. Nobody wants a tornado to take apart their house like a Lego set. Still again, not our house, but whatever. There is no villagers present here, and there is no lock on the door, so must be ours now, right? What kind of house doesn't have a lock on their door? The owner of that house must be okay with literally anyone walking in there and just watching some TV with them. No issue, right? Pretty weird. But like, this isn't my village, nor was I raised in it or anything, so maybe everyone is just nice and trustworthy enough to not have locks on their doors? If you really think about it, villagers must be extremely nice to one another, and in the later versions of this game, I think they can trade. Trade, as in like, they are able to trade with one another, not just the player trading with them. But who am I to judge these guys? Villagers fear the player anyway. I can't blame them, because we know the player just comes in their village, kills the iron golem, takes from their blacksmith, and yeah. There are not really much the villagers can do about players stealing from their chests and houses, and taking iron from the iron golems that protect their village. I don't think the villagers are capable of doing anything to stop that or defend themselves. Maybe they are bad at combat, or fighting. But either way, I just saw a bunch of villagers get swept away by that tornado, so they aren't really around to put to use all this nice loot in their chest. So why not I just take the loot for myself? All those poor villagers that got taken away far from their home are now all lost. There is not much we can do about that, so allow me to spawn the next tornado. I'm not really sure where to seek refuge right now, since a lot of these houses are either quite small or destroyed. We just need to find a valid location that isn't in the path of this tornado, especially because it's a F2. EF2 tornadoes could be quite strong, and in some cases could even pick you up if you're standing right next to it. In this mod, the F2 is a wider shaped tornado and most likely has larger range on how far it could pick players, animals, items, and other things up. So, we have to keep our distance. If you didn't notice right there, I was getting pulled a little by the strong tornado wind speeds. I'm lucky it didn't lift me off my feet and throw me up in the air, otherwise that would have been the end of the video, and I would have died. The vid really just ends when I die or survive them all. I feel like that's how lots of people would do these kinds of videos. Death equals video ending. Survival also equals video ending. The point of the video is really just to see whether or not all these tornadoes could be survived. And hey, if you guys liked this video, you could always leave feedback. What kind of content creator wouldn't appreciate seeing someone leave a like on their content out of generosity and pure respect? Those likes do a lot more than tell me you liked the video. They tell me that you would want to see more of my content. That my content could have made your day. But anyway, now that this EF2 has passed without not a scratch on the house we were in, I think it's safe to grab some materials for things like swords, axes, pickaxes, and other tools we may need in the future. I need a sword, because eventually it will become nighttime and monsters will come. Things like those spiders and zombies are going to be a big threat. Nobody wants any of those things chasing after you in the dark for whatever reason. It's weird, and that's why we have to kill them. Especially those skeletons. Oh boy, those are such a pain in the bum. They almost never miss a shot. You could be sprinting at full speed, and those arrows will always guarantee hit you. I don't know why the skeletons were programmed like that, or why they are even in the game, but it's truly something different. The game developers, I guess, just wanted something to lurk at nighttime. Check this out. The tornado is dying. That sure is a unique way for a tornado to go, if it's gonna go. I don't think tornadoes usually fall apart like that. From my knowledge, when tornadoes die out, they go back up into the cloud, then the supercell cloud itself begins to die out. In this version, the tornado dies out, but the supercell stays there. I don't really know if you could even call it a supercell. The cloud is just so thin and doesn't produce rain, thunder, and other requirements for a tornado to spawn. But instead, they are just like dead spinning funnel clouds or whatever. They don't serve much of a purpose after the tornado dies. They just sit up there and continue to spin for like 3 more minutes before finally disappearing or leaving the player's sight. I highly doubt another tornado could spawn from the same cloud. I've never seen that before. Maybe it could happen. There is a theory that tornadoes could spawn naturally with this mod, but I don't think so. I've played normal Minecraft survival with this tornado mod a long time ago, and a tornado has never actually spawned. I eventually came to a point where I had to manually spawn the tornado, and well, it wasn't really a survival world after I executed that command. Also, this EF3 tornado is quite literally leading someone in our direction. There is a chance it could rip a few blocks off the roof, or possibly even worse. We are obviously going to hope that doesn't happen, and stay safe and secure. I can visually see a house being ripped to shreds because the tornado is going right over it. Hopefully that house won't become ours. In fact, let's just hope that tornado doesn't even take a single block off our house at all. I like how in this version of Weather 2, the tornadoes could just pick up any block regardless of how heavy it is. The only block they can't pick up would be like bedrock. Maybe obsidian, but we still aren't really sure at this point of time. When I played this mod back then, I wasn't going all Mythbusters with the tornado mod, just trying to survive or spawn them. And I've just realized that I could block with my sword. I'm already obsessed with this. How am I just realizing this now? I could probably use this to benefit me later when I'm fighting those zombies and skeletons that I was talking about earlier. Could you block flying bow arrows with this? This, as in the ability to block with your sword. Why am I talking about this so much? And why am I not paying attention to the tornado that literally just passed this house? Bruh. But that's also good news because now that the tornado is all past, we are in the clear and we could exit this house soon. Or now. Because I just went outside. Ugh. Anyway, we have to prepare to spawn this EF4 tornado. This is obviously when the tornadoes get really deadly and could grab you from a pretty far range, along with keeping you in the air for extended periods of time. Nobody would want that, so, I think it's safe to say that we should definitely prepare for what's about to head our way. Otherwise, well, let's just say we'll never see sunlight again. Good thing about these tornadoes is that you don't really get hit by flying debris very often with the EF4 and 5s. The blocks remain inside. The pull and wind speed from the tornado is simply too strong, and whatever goes in never comes back out. Unless the tornado dies out, of course. But besides that, it would be very tedious to escape the tornado, because every time you land on the ground, you get pulled right back up. I want to find a house to hide in that isn't the church, because it's fully made of cobblestone, and it would just feel like cheating to me if I were to hid in the church and a tornado was about to hit the village. It's pretty sad what happened here already anyway. All the villagers got swept away. You could really only see like 1 or 2 villages due to the tragic tornado disasters that have been taking place here lately. I feel bad for how the villagers got their homes destroyed and relocated to some other part of this world that nobody really knows about. This place is just endlessly flat. The whole world is just flat ground with no cues of where you are. So if you get put somewhere that you don't know where you are, or can't see other people, then it would probably be near impossible to return to your village without heading in the wrong direction. But tornadoes leave paths, so If you did get caught in a tornado and ended up somehow surviving after the tornado died out, you may be able to follow the path if left in the ground back to where you were originally picked up, but at this point, it's useless. The village looked worse than a town that suffered getting nuked. I don't know why anybody would want to return to their village knowing that the same tornado that picked them up probably also ripped everything apart and left crazy property damage on their gardens and houses. I wonder how long it took those villagers to build the village in the first place. They probably built the village like how those guys on YouTube build their houses manually out of things like leaves and dirt. Those videos always had me linked to them when I was younger. Literally couldn't take my eyes off the screen. But anyway, the EF4 tornado is now here and sounds deadly. You can very clearly hear the sounds of the tornado ripping grass out of the ground and tearing things apart. Most likely, houses and other poorly built structures. Tornadoes like this are really just no joke. Somebody get these villagers a nice home to stay in after this video. They need it for sure. Who wouldn't need a place to stay after every single tornado 1 through 5 hits your area? But I'm sure these villagers will be fine in the future. There are plenty of different villages out there that they can all disperse to and stay in for the rest of their lives. But most of them might die. These zombies and other attackers would kill them before they make it far at all. I think the villagers can actually run faster than zombies, but constant running will leave you with no other choice but to just accept your fate. I say that because you'll soon run out of energy with a constant state of panic and running. That's why you must be quick to find a village when endangered that way. Thankfully, I don't think that would ever happen to us. I'm not really even sure how the topic got shifted to this one, but it's some unique stuff. Villagers aren't that dumb. They know when to hide in homes. If a zombie just so happened to be close to a villager, that villager would seek refuge in their house and remain in there until the night is over. Pretty smart behavior, huh? I'm pretty sure in the older versions of Minecraft, villagers couldn't open doors or know when to hide when the time comes. It might be this version too, but I haven't really been paying attention. I just want these tornadoes to be over with and call this video a day. Let's speed this up to when I actually spawn the twister. Now that the tornado is spawned, it should be heading in our direction. This is the strongest yet. Not only is the wind speeds of an EF5 over 200 miles per hour, but they can also be some very big tornadoes with a far grab radius. I mean, grab radius as in how far it could drag you or lift you off your feet into the tornado itself. Those big monsters are no joke. Stay careful out there, guys. Just look at that giant twister spinning. I'm trying to see if it's actually heading in our direction or not, because it appears to me that it's stuck in one spot. But there is a rule about tornadoes. If the tornado isn't moving, it is either going away from you or straight towards you. Or the tornado is traveling pretty slowly, which is pretty unlikely. Either way, if you see a tornado, just seek refuge somewhere, like in a house or building. Best to hide in a tornado bunker, of course. Just hide anywhere that the tornado can't, life you right off your feet into the deadly storm. Is it me, or do you guys hear a wave of different monsters outside? If this tornado somehow breaks cobblestone and lifts me up, and I somehow survive, these monsters are going to be beyond a problem. It would be an entire life or death situation. A crisis. Those things are not very friendly. Well, now that the tornado is visually getting very close, we should hide in the little bunker that I made in this base. We should be safe and secure down here. As long as the tornado doesn't pick up dirt and lift actual blocks out of the ground, then this would be no problem. Simple and easy. I think this might take a while. After all, it is the biggest out of all the storms in this mod, so no surprise that the diameter of this thing would make it take longer to pass by where we are. This sure is taking a while. No blocks appear to be getting ripped off our house either. Yeah, guys, I think we might actually survive this one. It's almost like the tornado is avoiding our house. We know it's an EF5, so how wouldn't it be able to pick up cobblestone? It wouldn't make any sense if it's not strong enough to pick up cobblestone. Gosh, when will this thing end? I think the tornado has gained some distance. Probably not close enough to pull us anymore. I wonder if it's safe to go outside. That tornado certainly looked all threatening, but it really kind of did minimal damage to this place. If not, it did no damage to this place. I see not a scratch. I guess this cobblestone structure was stronger than someone could have thought, which is obvious good news. That means we survived the EF5 tornado and didn't get swept away in its deadly winds. Lots of people fail to survive these storms because it could and would go right over their houses. And once that happens, well, it's pretty obvious what your fate is. But anyway, I think that is probably it for this video. All the tornadoes have been survived, and I'm like the last person to remain in this village. This place looked different from when we started, but that's no surprise. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this kind of content, let me know down in the comments. I'll make sure to read almost all of them. I appreciate you guys coming to watch me play this, and you're all amazing people at the end of the day. See you next time!